first, I want to go back a little bit to Alien.
Mm-hmm.
Did you know back then that there was more to the story? The space jockey, all of it.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know?
Of course. I mean, because at the time there was even discussion about they're in this room, scared us, saying, "Look at this thing. Looks like it died with this thing coming from the inside. What was that?" And I always hope that God, I hope no one brings up and says, "What about the guy in the chair?" Because the film carried on with other intentions, and then it was forgotten about. And when the Alien franchise finally was done, I thought about it and thought, well, you know, the alien himself is done, really. We've seen enough. He's no longer frightening. He can't be. And therefore, what else do we do? If we was going to do something, where would I go? I'd go back to the jockey and say, who the hell was that? Why was he there? What on earth was his cargo? And is that a skeleton or is there something else? And, of course, in this one, we discover other things.
Now you expand the world more than I would have ever imagined, because I saw the trailer thinking something else. But there's the religious space. There's how did it become such an epic proportion?
You know what's really pleasing is that everybody's picked up on the religious question.
Oh, good.
On the creation, how were we created, and who, how, when, and where do we go? And are we biology or is there a God? So, and everyone's picked up on that, which is, in one sense I was concerned about it, thinking, is it too, not intellectual, but is it people going, I don't want to get involved in that, but actually everybody picked up on it. All of you guys have picked up on it, every one of you.
Nice.
And no, it's really good, because then it just lifts the bar a bit above. Of course we've got, you know, action and nasty things, and which actually they're pretty wonderful. Nasty beasts. They're really. But I think in there we've also got a much larger question there, which is kind of really makes it epic, doesn't it?
I think so. I think what also worked for me is you have Noomi, who is not. She's not Ripley. This is a different character who is, you know, dealing with doing what she does, but believing in God and having that faith. Well, how did you fashion that character?
Well, I think I was going to add to, you know, I think Alien was a very enclosed film, was boxed into this steel hull. This one is epic. That's the difference. One is a very good film. This is epic. I think Prometheus is epic. And when you have this epic thing, it's not just the visual, it's also the ideas in the film. So there are some epic ideas in the film. And from that, I needed a real tough guy to actually be able to survive the whole process. And above all things, in this, a bit of a crusader, actually.
Yeah.
And in this instance, she was a crusader, and in fact, she had a strong faith. She believed in God. And yet, the irony is the confusion in her makeup is she's also a scientist. So one is dealing with absolute clarity, and the other side of it is emotional. So that's interesting.
Now, it also, I mean, I won't talk about where and why, but there's clearly not just room for one sequel. There's room for two different stories.
Yeah, I think so.
At least. And I remember when we talked at Robin Hood, you had talked about trilogy. Is that where you're going, thinking about spawning it off into different directions?
You could do, because we end on her, of course, saying, you know, I'm still searching. And then where will she go to? Because she also has a very useful guidance system with her.
Yeah, yes, which was a fantastic use.
I think it was pretty neat thing, the way to do that at the end.
Yeah.
Kind of lifted it into another area, didn't it?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah.
And there's also, like you said, with the spirituality, you're dealing with.
Well, also there was a gentleness at that point, where she suddenly realized that actually he's benign. There is no malice.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? Which I think the audience learns too.
Yeah.
You
cool.
know.
Yeah.
Fantastic, man.
Good.
Thank you.
Thank you.